Hello, hi, and welcome back to Adventures in Music with me, Jim, where we listen to, talk about, and do all sorts of things music-y. Today, I'm going to make a list of my top 10 most notable musical moments of 2024. So, if it had something to do with music and it happened this year and it caught my attention, I might have been involved with it. I listened to it. I went to it. I heard all about it. I read about it. Something along those lines. And there's lots and lots and lots of them. But this is my top 10. The 10 the most significant musical moments, I think, this year. And coming in straight away at number 10 is Oasis. The reunion. The Ticketmaster fiasco. Oasis are a fundamentally important band to a lot of people. Pivotal, you could say, in getting the interest of a fairly uninterested audience back into guitar music in the early 1990s. And they were absolutely fundamentally important, as I say, to a lot of people, and a lot of my friends included in that. And that Oasis, I don't know if they were the biggest band in the world, but it certainly felt like it for a while, that they were like the biggest band on the planet. That they kind of never officially split up, but just the two brothers weren't talking, and there was a lot of bad blood in the air. It just added to the mystique and the intrigue about them. So after many years and probably tax bills to settle, they announced a reunion to the fanfare and the cheers of a lot of people. And the internet and the gossip columns were abuzz. But then what followed was the ugly Ticketmaster fiasco. You know what happened. I mean, unless you've been living under a rock, that what started out as being still expensive but affordable ticket prices within minutes doubled in price, tripled in price, just went up and up and up and up. So people who were in a queue to buy these tickets just were given this just minutes of notice. Look, the price is no longer X, is now X times 3. And you either have to pay it or don't get the ticket. And it was just really horrible, really poor, very, very grubby, greedy. I know that Oasis have kind of sort of backed down and said, "Oh, it's nothing to do with us. It's the management company. It's our agents. It's the booking agents, the booking managers, all this sort of." Yeah, I don't buy that for a minute. They were there to make money, and they couldn't have predicted. Well, they should have been able to predict, but they didn't predict how badly it would go and how badly it would reflect on them, and how much it got picked up by the media, not just in this country, but actually around the world. So yes, the fact they said, "Oh, it's just an exclusive few dates in the UK." Oh, they had it in their ideas. They knew what was going to be going on. They are now touring around Europe. There's be touring in the US, and of course, this dynamic pricing model that is so unfair and so fundamentally horrible. They're no longer applying, but only because people are looking at them and pointing their fingers. If people made no complaint about it, they wouldn't be bothered at all. Anyway, so that comes in at number 10 as the most notable musical moment of the year from my point of view. Right, so number 9. I'm going to put this down as another return. So this is the return of Dream Theater. So we've known since November, I think, last year, that Mike Portnoy was coming back to the band, but we're putting the band back together, that he would rejoin the fold. Poor old Mike Mangini was off on his cast out. But yeah, we've been waiting a while, and finally, early October, the new Dream Theater single is launched onto an unsuspecting world. The brothers reunited. Not those brothers. I was just talking about those in the previous one on the Oasis. Not those brothers. The band of brothers. So yeah, the band is back, and Mike Portnoy back in command, back in the driving seat, the rhythm section, the oomph behind the band, and yeah, absolutely fantastic single. I really, really enjoyed it. I think it was exactly what I wanted, exactly what a lot of people wanted, actually, and it sounded like Dream Theater. It sounded fantastic. I was slightly less impressed, I think, with the second track, which came out a few weeks ago. The track itself, I think the video was poor. There's just the whole AI thing is, oh, why are they doing it? And I know I'm a Luddite. I know I am, but I'm not a fan. I really am not. Anyway, that's the video we're talking about there. The music was pretty good, but yeah, I'm very, very excited that Dream Theater as a classic lineup is back, and I think there's a lot of people who are very, very excited for February when the new album comes out. So watch this space because we'll be listening. We'll be listening. Number 8 is a live gig. It was the first gig I went to of the year, and it was Spock's Beard. So Spock's Beard is one of these bands that I've been following on and off for a number of years, only because of the channel. And of course, they are not one I'd had a chance to see live. And they came to Milton Keynes. They came and played at the Crawford Arms. So it's a pretty small venue, maybe a couple of hundred people. And it was brilliant. It was small, intimate, hot, sweaty, loud. They were fantastic. I came to this gig literally a week after speaking to Riley McDonald from Advent Horizon, who had told me about the bass player, Dave Meros, who had played on their album, and suggested that I try to meet him at the gig. Well, I wasn't able to do that, but I did see him playing on the stage, not 30 feet away from me. So it was good. We just were not able to hang around afterwards. We had childcare issues, so I had to get back home. But that was a fantastic gig. The band themselves were brilliant, and I'm so pleased to have seen them. I thought they were fantastic, and yeah, and to see them in such a small, intimate venue like that was quite a thing. Absolutely quite a thing. Coming in at number 7, this was an event in the summer. It was the Olympic Games. And now, what, pray tell, are you talking about, Jimothy? I'll tell you what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Gojira. Gojira playing at the Olympic Games. I was not quite prepared and ready for what happened there. And it is the biggest stage in the world from a television point of view. The number of eyes watching the screen at that moment was extraordinary. What a moment for alternative music, for metal, for France, for Gojira, for anybody who takes a passing interest in not the mainstream. It was just fantastic, and they grabbed their moment with both hands, and I don't think they could have played anything more than they did. It was only a few minutes they had, but oh my days, was it a performance. It was huge. It was monumental. It was as metal as anything, and so unexpected and so rewarding for those watching who were not ready for it. It just came out as a bolt out of the blue. But that was such a memorable moment, and it absolutely makes my list of memorable moments of 2024. Coming in at number 6 is another gig, and this time it's seeing Big Big Train. So Big Big Train is another band that I've been following for not as long as I'd like to have done, but I've become aware of them again as a result of the channel. I've listened to a fair bit, but not all of their music yet. But I was not ready for how good they are live. I knew they were good on record. I absolutely knew they were great on record. But again, they played very locally to me in Milton Keynes. At this time, it was a venue called The Stables, which is a fairly small, intimate venue, but is now fairly frequented by bands on the prog circuit. So you get a lot of bands playing in there. Solstice played there the week before. I know that Wishbone Ash play there frequently. They come in every single year. Karnataka have played there probably 2 or 3 times in the last few years, and I've seen them there as well. So it is an established little venue on the circuit. But to see Big Train there was doubly sweet, because it was great to see the band itself, but also amazing to actually get to meet them afterwards. And it was such a sweet moment to sit or to stand and chat with Greg, who I'd spoken to on the phone on Zoom earlier in the year for an interview, but actually to meet in person was a lovely moment. And I cannot tell you how good they are as a band. In fact, I can, and I did, and I made a video about it. It was extraordinary. What a gig. What a moment. I don't think I've ever come across a band quite so in the zone and so multi-talented, as in the players were moving around playing different instruments and swapping around and seemed to be having so much fun with it. Absolutely extraordinary gig, and one that will live with me for a long time, and I cannot wait to see them again. It is absolutely fantastic. Coming in at number 5 is the passing of Paul Di'Anno. So this was a really big moment. Probably not massively unexpected, but he was a very poorly man towards the end of his life, but still gigging, still touring, still holding the torch for those early Maiden songs. And it hit me hard. I think it hit a lot of people hard, because it's another one of those moments where a part of the history of Iron Maiden is no longer living. It's just a memory now. It's notes written in a book. It's the songs on record. It's the video. But the man himself is no longer with us, and that was it was hard. It was a real as I say, not necessarily a shock. It was a shock that it happened so suddenly without warning. But it was a very sad moment, and the contribution that he made to Iron Maiden in those early days, those 2 early albums, in the EPs, the singles, those live dates that they played in the late 70s, very early 1980s. No one else could have done that. No one else would have been the right person for the band at that time. And he helped establish them at the forefront of the new wave of British heavy metal, and to be a springboard to what they then became in the later years. So, Paul, I miss you, matey, and that was a really big blow. Coming at number 4 is the retirement of Nicko McBrain. So this only happened last week, and this again came absolutely out of the blue in the way that it was announced. Not that it was unexpected, I guess. Nicko had been fighting his physical abilities for a while since he had the stroke, and that he was able to play at somewhere near sort of 80% of his ability for a major world tour with Iron Maiden for 18 months is nothing short of miraculous. But he knew, the band knew, the fans knew that this day would come. Now, I kind of figured when Nicko left, it actually might have been the end of Iron Maiden, but it's not. The band is going to continue. But that was such a huge moment. It meant, for similar reasons as to Paul Di'Anno dying, as another very tangible part of Iron Maiden history is now in the past. There's a line drawn underneath his certainly live involvement in the band, and a very well deserved retirement, of course, but also tinged with a little bit of sadness, because his presence on that stage, his fun persona, his quirkiness, his larger than life personality won't be on the stage anymore, and it won't be there as a regular part of the Iron Maiden tour. I suspect he may well come out for some special occasions. So when they play at the London Stadium next year, I suspect that Nicko will come on the stage at least for a song or two for that, and I wouldn't be surprised at all. But yeah, that was a big moment, a really, really big moment. Now, this is something that I've not really been able to talk about, and I can't really talk about yet at the moment either. But I had the opportunity to go to London and to listen to the brand new Steven Wilson album, which comes out at some point next year. Now, I've laid down my thoughts immediately afterwards on video, but I'm holding on to it. I'm not releasing it yet because we need to release it at the right time. But that was, for me, another one of these amazing moments to witness. So to be able to hear Steven Wilson's new album in the extraordinary surround sound of the L Acoustics showroom, I guess is what it is. It's like an auditorium where you listen to the music. It was just an extraordinary moment. I was able to do it last year for the Harmony Codex, and I'm able to do it. Was able to do it again a month or so again this year for the Overview, which is obviously the new album that's coming out, and the tour to support it will be going around next year. I can't say too much more about it, but I have to say, hold on to your expectations and raise them, because it's properly good. He's returning to his proggy roots, and I'm not sort of trying to over embellish it or anything like that, but blimey, you will enjoy it. So my second most memorable musical moment of the entire year was seeing Haken live at the Forum in London. And it was great for a number of reasons. It was a very, very long gig. It was an evening with Haken. There was no support. They played the entire show for, I guess, nearly 3 hours. I was there with two friends and one of my friend's daughter. It was her first ever experience of this band. It was my friend's first experience of hearing the band live. Oh, actually, no. We saw them at Download a couple of years ago. But it's the first time seeing them properly live. And it's my first time seeing them properly live for a long, extended time. So I've seen them a few times before, but there's always been as a small set at a festival, or I saw them and they supported Devon Townsend back in 2019. So that was maybe a half hour, 40-minute set then. But to see them playing, have their own stage, and to play for an extended period of time was brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. They played a lot of the new album, probably all of it actually. They played an awful lot of the stuff from across all the other albums. And they ended, was it ending by playing? They certainly played Visions, which is this monumentally huge, over 20-minute piece epic that was just staggering. I mean, I was just completely aghast. I've seen them on DVD do this, but to actually be there, standing in the audience, listening to these musicians of the highest level performing this music, was just a joy, absolute joy to be there. It's just incredible. Very loud, very, very loud, but absolutely fantastic. And I loved every single moment of it. So, my number one moment of the year. My number one moment of the year, it's another gig. It's the Von Hertzen Brothers. Only a week or two ago. It was fantastic. I have never seen them live before, and I was just blown away by how great they were. It was a small venue. It was the Garage in Islington, so a few hundred people. Mikko stated at the beginning that it was going to be a long gig. He wasn't kidding. By the time they'd ploughed through their set, they'd touched on songs from 6 of their 9 albums. So they'd played right across the career, and it was a long set, but it didn't feel laboured. They stacked the beginning with some real rockers, then took the gas off slightly to give you a chance for a breather by playing All of a Sudden You're Gone. Oh my God, that was a moment. I've kind of welled up a bit in there, and I think that a lot of people probably did. It was a real moment, especially when the chorusy bit at the end comes in, and you have the chanting on the record. You have so many people joining in with that, but the audience was joining in with it, and it was just it was wonderful. I think I wasn't prepared for was how good Mikko von Hertzen's voice was live. Now, obviously, I've heard it on record. I've heard it 100 times, and it always impresses. But that he can do it live is the most amazing thing. It's just fantastic. I was absolutely flabbergasted how well his voice held up, and it was extraordinary. So the other two brothers, you had Yoni on the bass and some synths. He was doing some fantastic stuff there. And again, on the record, you don't necessarily appreciate everything that he's doing, but seeing the performance on stage live is something else altogether, and it was absolutely fantastic. And also his contribution of harmonies to the vocals worked brilliantly, along with Kai. So there's something very special, isn't it, about sort of sibling vocals, how they harmonize, and it was wonderful. It was wonderful. Talking of Kai, oh boy, what a guitarist! What a guitarist! What a showman! So much fun, leaping and prancing around the stage, and absolutely a world-class guitarist, a world-class rock guitarist. He's absolutely fantastic. At moments sounding like David Gilmour, at others sounding like Eddie Van Halen. Just unbelievably good. So musical. And little flourishes in the song. So I suppose that is actually a lead guitarist is very, very good at that. Doesn't have to keep repeating what the rhythm guitar is doing all the time. So in moments between a chorus and a verse, you're able to sort of just do a little flourish there just to sort of differentiate these parts of the song. All these little moments are just magical and fantastic, and absolutely was the band felt like they should be on a stage at Wembley Stadium, not at the Garage in Islington. They felt that big. The music should be that big. Is that accessible? Is that anthemic? I mean, it's huge music, and they properly deserve to be bigger than they are. The other musicians on stage with them, of course, cannot be ignored and forgotten, and so they will not be. Sammy is an absolutely remarkable drummer, and he was holding it all together at the back. I didn't realise until actually chatting to him afterwards that he was in Kingston Wall. So another of my bands that I've championed in the past and love. I just totally not made the connection that it's the same guy. But yeah, proper sort of Finnish rock history there. So Kingston Wall to Von Hertzen Brothers is absolutely phenomenal. But I guess it was sort of Marcus, the other musician at the back, on the back line there, who really brought something very, very special to the gig. So multi-instrumentalist, played keyboards a lot, but also had his woodwind with him, so he was playing flute. But the moments that were really, really exciting were where he started to play the sax, especially on Peace Patrol. That big, epic moment, the end of Peace Patrol, at the end of the gig. It's the moment everybody been waiting for. He steps forward, starts to blow the saxophone, nothing. Mikko von Hertzen trod on his mic cable and unplugged the mic, and it's just comedy gold. Comedy gold. You couldn't. It was like something out of Spinal Tap or something. You couldn't have made it up. However, the moment was saved. Yoni found another microphone, span it round, and Marcus was able to play into that. But that was a very, very funny, awkward moment for a few moments there. But a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful gig. The icing on the cake was that I met the band afterwards. I met all of them. I met every single one of them, shook their hands, had photos taken with them. And it was a moment to treasure, and really, absolutely, it was the musical highlight of my year. So there we go. It won't be the same as anybody else's. Nobody else has lived these moments, but this has absolutely been my musical journey of the year. One honourable mention I do need to just bring to your attention. It's already featured on another list, but I do need to say this. John Anderson and the Band Geeks. Where did this come from? You know, this, it's just so good. It needs to be mentioned twice. So I mentioned it on my albums of the year. I'm going to need to mention it on here as well. So this is an honourable mention. The new album from John Anderson and the Band Geeks, True, blew me away. But there we go. That's my year. That's my year. And I hope you've enjoyed listening to it and sharing in my memories. I'll see you on the next video, whenever and whatever that is. Until then, this is Jim. Over and out.